All right, so get this right. AI podcasters, like actually coming clean with their listeners.
Really?
Yeah, this whole thing blew up on Reddit, people freaking out because these AI hosts basically announced, surprise, we're not human.
It's kind of wild how this stuff just explodes online now, right? Goes way beyond just the tech circles, TikTok forums, everywhere.
For sure. It's like we're living in some kind of like Black Mirror episode, but it's real life.
Right.
And Google's right there in the thick of it with this thing called NotebookLM.
Yeah, I read a bit about that. Sounds pretty interesting.
It's basically this tool that can take like your boring work documents, presentations, whatever, and turn them into, get this, podcasts.
Like audio summaries.
Exactly. Audio summaries that sound like, well, podcasts. Imagine like listening to your work presentation while you're out for a run.
That's the future, right? Just consuming info on the go, however you want it.
Totally. And honestly, after trying it out myself, the thing that got me was how easy it is to use.
Oh, yeah. Like, user-friendly even for people who aren't, tech wizards.
Totally. You need a Google account, obviously, but then it's just go to the NotebookLM site, create a notebook, and you're good to go.
Nice. And what kind of stuff can you actually feed into it?
Oh man, tons of stuff. Up to 50 documents per notebook. And it's not just like text files. You can upload Google Docs, slides, even links to websites and YouTube videos.
Wow, so it scrapes the text from those.
Yep. It focuses on the text content, so no images or anything like that. And obviously nothing behind a paywall either.
Makes sense. So you've got all this stuff in your notebook. Then what?
Then it's super simple. You just hit this big generate button and the AI gets to work.
And how long does that take?
It depends, honestly, on how much you've uploaded. But once it's done, you can get a link to share it, download the audio file, even adjust the playback speed. Faster, slower, you name it.
Wow. That's actually really cool.
And here's where things get really interesting, because people are using this NotebookLM, in some really creative ways.
Yeah, it's like give people a new tool and the creativity just explodes.
Exactly. I saw someone fed it the entire script of Stranger Things season 1.
No way. What happened?
It analyzed it, gave this whole breakdown of the show's themes, the characters, everything.
So it's not just summarizing, it's actually pulling out those deeper layers.
Yeah. And I mean, some of it was, pretty basic stuff, but some of it was actually insightful. It got me thinking okay, what are the limits here? What happens when this tech gets even better?
Right. That's the big question, isn't it? Are we going to have AI guests on podcasts? AI writing the music?
Mm-hmm.
Who knows where this goes?
It's kind of a lot to think about.
It is.
And speaking of big questions, the elephant in the room with this whole AI podcast thing, right? Are human podcasters like us, on the way out? Are we going to be replaced by robots with perfect voices and an endless supply of dad jokes?
Okay. So first of all, I think my dad jokes are pretty good.
Okay, true.
Yeah.
But you get what I mean, right?
I do, yeah. Is this the end of human connection in audio?
Mm-hmm.
Honestly, I don't think so. I mean, as cool as this tech is, these AI podcasts, they just don't quite have that human touch.
Right, that natural back and forth, the little stumbles, even the awkward silences, it's all part of it, right?
Right, and I think that's what people connect with, ultimately. They're listening for more than just the information. They want that shared experience.
Totally. So you're saying AI podcasts are more like a cool new tool rather than this existential threat to what we do.
Yeah, exactly. It's another way to consume info, another creative outlet.
Yeah.
But I will say, Google's already working on some interesting stuff with customization.
Oh, really? Like what?
Well, imagine being able to tweak the AI's tone,
Right.
Make it sound more serious or more playful. Or adjusting the length of the podcast based on your preferences.
So instead of just a robotic voice, we could have AI podcasts with different personalities, even accents and stuff.
Exactly. It could totally change how we experience audio, right? Imagine learning about another culture through a podcast narrated by an AI that sounds like, I don't know, a local storyteller or something.
It'd be pretty amazing.
Right. It's the whole world of audio content just got a whole lot bigger.
It really did. But even now, even without all that crazy future stuff, NotebookLM is still a pretty amazing tool.
Totally. It has the potential to make information way more accessible.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, those dense reports or research papers that nobody wants to read, turn them into a podcast, suddenly, boom, everyone's listening.
Right. Imagine if, instead of boring everyone with a slideshow at work, you could just send them a podcast of your presentation.
Exactly. Or think about this, right?
Yeah.
You're passionate about something. Maybe it's a hobby. Maybe it's some obscure historical event, whatever. Now you can create a whole podcast about it, share it with the world, all through this one tool.
That's kind of empowering, actually.
Totally.
So I guess what we're saying is the future of audio, it's looking pretty wild and more than a little unpredictable.
Absolutely. But hey, that's what makes it exciting.
Totally. So to all our listeners out there, keep your ears open and stay curious. We'll catch you in the next deep dive.